Let's loosen things up after that serious question and bring on the mayor for his moment.
Okay.
Frankfort Mayor Layne Wilkerson joining us here on a Friday. Thank you, sir, for taking time out to be with us.
You're welcome. It's good to be back. Friday's always the best day to be here in
so
the
good.
studio.
Yeah.
And my first one of the year. This is the.
That's right.
okay.
We weren't able to get you here in January and just under the wire.
Well, I have a lot to catch you up on.
Because you've been so busy. We did talk about, we did the State of the Community.
Yeah.
And all of our local leadership was there, and you had a lot of great things to talk about. So we figured you better get in here and talk to our viewers about it.
Well, there is a lot to catch you up on, but it was good to see you at the Mike Hedden Slice of Life event. Of course, I came back to Frankfort just over 20 years ago, about the same time that Mike had come back from California. So there was a group of us that lived downtown at the same time. So we were all kind of there when those businesses started, and it's amazing. It's been almost 20 years.
It's crazy.
And Buddy's is still going strong.
Yeah.
Capital Cellars is still there, and then the others. But it's important that Buddy stays there. Of course, encourage the community to support the family and the business. And it just last night was great to see everyone there. And
I couldn't believe the number of people that were there like the whole time. Again, when we decided to go down to Serafini, we were sitting like at the table in the window, and we could see, and it was just constant. It was just steady, packed the whole time.
It really felt good. It was a reunion of sorts, and just to see so many people just reminds us what makes Frankfort special, and that hey, we're all in this together downtown too, and let's I don't know, just there was a renewed sense of optimism in the face of something like that.
Yeah. And Katie was saying that Mike just would have been flabbergasted at just the amount of the turnout. So
I agree.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You had big news come out this week. We've been talking about this for a while, admittedly, but we made a big step this week with an announcement on the event center.
Right. So we talk about the parcels a lot, and that's the old Capitol Plaza complex here on the show, and we talk about what could go there. And on Monday night,
we dream big dreams.
Right, we voted to move forward with a developer on the site, and we were able to show the first renderings of what the new event center will look like, and I think it's going to fit in well in the area, and looks like it will be behind the Capitol Plaza Hotel. There's a picture of it. There, as you can see, it will be attached to the parking structure and transit center that the city constructed a couple of years ago. And when that was built, it was with the mind that we would need more parking for a facility like this. So the dominoes needed to fall before this could happen. This is a big domino. It's a significant one. So we're excited about it. As you can see there, Washington Street will it's going to be extended all the way from Broadway to Miro, and you see a green space there. That could be something else to be determined there, but this is exciting. The event center, they're expecting between 200 and 300 events a year in the facility, so tens of thousands of new visitors to Frankfort that we don't have now, that we used to have with the Civic Center. But I think also, maybe not equally as exciting, but very important, is the new housing that has been indicated for the other parts, so where, like the YMCA is now. Now, there's no designs on that. There's nothing announced officially. But now that they know that the event center can go behind the Capitol Plaza Hotel, housing can start being looked at for the YMCA site.
Condos, townhouses.
I imagine it will be a multi-unit apartments, condos initially, because I think that's where the demand is. There'll be some ground floor retail or something on the ground floor, but something that we need for downtown. So I think the 1-2 combination of housing and tourists into the downtown area is going to do a lot for our vibrancy. So we're looking at a couple of years on the event center before it's completed. I think the earliest would be summer of 2028, but the end is in sight. So
Yeah.
I think if we're sitting here 3 years from now, Frankfort's going to look a lot different downtown.
So where are we now? I mean, is there like a date set for like a groundbreaking, or we're not
yet.
there? Okay.
No, but what we have to do now is this is a public-private partnership.
Right.
So there's a state P3 board that we need to put this in front of them. They have to approve it. So
Okay.
we're going, Monday night's vote took that next step to send it to them. And also we're working closely with our General Assembly to add to the already partially funding that they have added. They've committed to this project. So we're working with them. Anything we can do to raise more money for the project is going to reduce the amount that Frankfort has to outlay every year,
Gotcha.
which we can then put into other projects.
Right.
It'll be awesome to keep more events here in town and maybe attract some things that we hadn't had before.
Right.
And the city owns the land, is going to buy the land. I know that's, so we're, the land purchase is $1. We're working, and under the proposal that's been put forth, a group called Oakview Management Group will do the bookings and manage the facility. And,
cool.
And they do the Rupp Arena Complex,
gonna say that
the
name
Central
sounded
Bank
familiar.
Center. They do the Owensboro, and they do nationwide. So it's a major company with expertise in doing these things. So they're going to do that. It won't be the city managing this project, but the city will eventually own the building.
That's a big project.
Big project.
Well, in the running of it, right? It
Right.
takes a lot, the booking and the coordination and stuff.
It's good that that they you're looking at hiring somebody else. Wouldn't it for the Civic Center, for the state ran that, right?
They did.
Yeah,
Yes, they
okay.
did.
Well, you talked about being able to have money to put into other things. So what other things are we talking about?
We also, the meeting before that, we agreed to go hire Sasaki to do the Riverfront development plan. And then this is something that is an extension of what we've done in the past in terms of determining what's going to be on the riverfront. As we know that the riverfront has not been used to its fullest potential here in Frankfort, and flooding doesn't help because it makes it hard for us to build with confidence on the river. So we took the first step in hiring a firm that can help us design this in a way that we can put some more amenities on the riverfront, and also allow it to flood when we know it's going to flood. And
like they do at Captain's Quarters. They just prepare for it.
Exactly. And the firm Sasaki, they're world renowned. This is their expertise, and we had very good submissions on this project, and they came out ahead from the scoring committee. They've done the Chicago River Walk, they've done the Cincinnati Riverfront, the Smale Park there, and those flood, and then they're back in service pretty quickly. So we expect some great things from that.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Funding will be important. We're working with our federal delegation to secure the stabilization funds. We've had about $6 million, just under it, past the House. Now we have to get that through the Senate. And if that happens, we'll be able to get some funds for much needed stabilization so we can do some more permanent things. Of course, we're working with the city, the city and the county schools on a new wellness center and aquatic center. That, of course, will require funding. This last week, proposals were due on that, so we now have submissions that are being reviewed now. Interviews will be taking place soon, and that'll get us another step closer to completion on that project. And we always have other things. Taylor Avenue, Singing Bridge.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot that we're working on infrastructure-wise here in Frankfort.
Now, was there a meeting about Taylor Avenue?
There was a meeting about the Singing Bridge.
About the Singing Bridge. Okay.
The State Department of Transportation. So because the Singing Bridge is historic, and it connects two distinct historic districts, because federal funding will likely be required to build the new replacement. You have to have a consulting party meeting so that we have to talk to all the neighbors. Anybody that's going to be affected by the view shed gets the weigh in on design. So there was a meeting about that, and there was more clarity in that meeting in terms of when it'll be completed. So this year it's design. start to look for demolition and maybe construction later next year, and hopefully this is completed in 2029. But so our job right now as local elected officials is to work with the state and the federal government to make sure that the funding is there so that we get a significant bridge that we can all be proud of here in the capital city.
Yeah. A sticky topic in that area is the old YMCA. So now the city has purchased it.
Yep.
What's going to happen to that?
To be determined,
Okay.
but I think it's, and I wasn't involved in that decision-making process because of a family connection. However, though, I do think it tracks with our plans to redevelop the riverfront. And in the past couple of years preceding, the city picked up a couple of properties on the riverfront. The farmers market site that was owned by the state, the city took that over from the state. We also purchased another property where the old sand and gravel lot used to be. And the idea is that we want to control more of the public spaces on the riverfront so that we can develop that and make it an amenity and make it for public use. And this is another property now with the imminent replacement of the Singing Bridge. It's going to be very attractive for us to do something with that property. And I think it was good to remove that bottleneck that we had, and it was in litigation too. So I wasn't involved in those discussions, but anytime we can clear the way for development, that's sometimes the best thing that government can do.
With you mentioned on the riverfront and with Sasaki and are there do we know where, do you know what I mean, or is it sort of all open, like maybe it's Blanton's Landing or the farmers market, or
we've given them they've got a lot of room to work here.
Okay.
We gave them a broad canvas from the East-West Connector Bridge, Old Lawrenceburg Road, all the way down to essentially the dam and Lock 4. So both sides of the river, wherever there's a public space. So Blanton's Landing would be part of that. Anything on the Riverview Park side, Old Lawrenceburg Road. And the idea is we would break it up into digestible pieces so that we can isolate one, make it, because we're not going to be able to get funding all at once for the whole thing, but to break it up so that we can, the things that the city can control, we can RFP, maybe do a public-private partnership. We can work with the federal government on a piece, maybe the state, and I like the idea of getting a plan out there and something, and I mentioned this in the State of the Community, if we have something so compelling, it's going to be hard to say no to when we talk to our partners at the state, because I think everyone throughout the state, whether you're in Paducah, Pikeville, Covington, wherever, you want a capital city that reflects well on the state, because a lot of people will visit here and judge the entire state by what Frankfort looks like. And if we can make this a proper front porch, it's gonna help the whole state. So I do think we can make a strong case to get funding for something that is visionary and gets people excited.
And and that's not just for tourists, but again for the people who live here in Frankfort. They need to realize what a gem the river is. I mean, because that gives them access to it. Because if you don't have a boat, it's hard to
where do you go?
Hang out on the river.
You need a destination.
And I live very close to two sides of the river, and it's just, and I do walk along the river, walk the dog, but it actually interacting with the river, it's not as easy for people unless they are experienced. Like
boaters.
People that have boats. And I think one thing that this is also encompasses is the Fort Hill area as well. Finding a way, we've asked them to consider Fort Hill in these plans to see, how would you, being landscape designers and engineers, connect the two? Because if Fort Hill is underused here in Frankfort, 130 acres there, and I think anything we can do to make it more accessible, because it's not so easy to
Yeah.
to get there. And I think if you look at the map of Frankfort with Fort Hill in the middle, it's essentially our Central Park. It connects so many different neighborhoods, whether it be Home Street, Thornhill, or Blanton Acres, and there's just there's so much potential there. And I'm excited to see what they come up with, because they're professionals, and if maybe we get something transformative there.
Yeah, that would be very cool.
So is there a timeline on a first sort of proposal from them on that, or?
I don't know exactly when. I don't know what the timeline is, but they're going to start doing they've already done some stakeholder meetings here in Frankfort, and there will be more to follow. So everyone's going to have an opportunity to weigh in on what they would like to see. And I know I hear some things repeatedly.
Yeah.
Sure.
Maybe a playground, maybe an amphitheater, a restaurant, food and beverage concept, which I think is pretty fascinating.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be exciting. And, and then Taylor Avenue, I mentioned that earlier. We voted on Monday night to put some funds behind monitoring the Taylor Avenue, because the state owns the road.
Right.
And they're not interested at this point. I think it's safe to say they're not interested in opening the road up with the rock, the way it's positioned right now, and the uncertainty.
Yeah.
So I think we've worked out something where if we can monitor it for a while, and we can show that it's not likely to move, and the risk is not so great, that we might have a better case to open it sooner than later. But it's going to be probably a year before we can show them.
Yeah.
They're going to see a year's worth of monitoring before. So, but we had to do this part to get it going. But they didn't. The state's not as interested. It's not a priority for them.
It's not a priority.
It's not. And it's important to the city of Frankfort with a cut through and for emergency vehicles, but for the state traffic.
That's how we get to the marina.
Right, yeah.
It doesn't score very high on the state level.
Yeah.
I saw on your Facebook page that there were some town hall meetings coming up.
Yes.
Talk about that?
Yeah, this is something we've been advocating for, just to make it easier. People don't have the ability to come to our meetings as much as we would. They're open to the public. Our commission meetings, we meet twice a month, but the reality is it's just not as easy for some people. But if you see on the screen there, we have some town hall meetings coming up. And so what we're going to have here are department heads, and you have or representatives from every department, so you can just ask the questions. You have a code question, public works, waste management, you name it, parks. They're going to be there, and it's going to be something more informal than having to come to the meeting and sit in the audience. But this is your chance to think of some questions and come and get to know the people who work in City Hall. And I think that's one of our goals, is to when we tell Frankfort's story, we want to tell how to interact with City Hall and make it more accessible to the public.
Yeah.
Okay.
So March 31st from 4 to 6 at Juniper Hill Park. That's the first one on the schedule. So it'll be exciting.
Did you see the America 250? Our video that was put. That was a meeting before last.
Oh yeah, we
Yeah.
played it on the show right after.
Yeah.
You guys had to have
It's
they would not allow us to debut it on the show, even though we asked.
Yeah.
They said they had to go show it to you guys first, and then we were able to show it the next day.
Yes.
Well, I didn't see it until we saw it in the commission meeting.
Yeah, that's what I mean. No, you guys
I
saw it
want
in
to
the
be
commission meeting
surprised,
first.
just like everyone else.
The world premiere. No, it was super
The
cool.
illustrations were great.
Yeah,
Loved it.
and the music great too.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else before we get we have to ask you the most important question at the end, but any other city topics to talk about?
I think we covered it quite a bit there. I think
We have.
stay
It's been
tuned, and of course, just know that we're working hard. City Hall and staff is, and the commissioners. We have a great commission right now. We're hitting our stride in terms of just taking on a lot of big projects and a lot of substantial policy and meetings. It's really been a joy to work with.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have an opinion on ghosts?
I do.
Okay.
I do. I agree with Kathy. I think they can go anywhere, and maybe they're here now.
Yeah.
Right
here.
I mean, it's not Halloween time, but sometimes
they can go anywhere. But I agree, they don't. It's not They can't. They don't just fall. But they can go if they want to go up and down. They can. They can go sideways. They can go through walls. They can
go through you.
Yeah. Sometimes
they can take over.
Yeah, right.
He's often
Maybe,
possessed.
maybe they already have. Who knows? All right. Well, Mayor, thanks so much for being here. I know you guys are busy and keep up all the hard work on all the
Thank
things
you.
happening.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah.
And keep up the good work here.
Yeah, have a
at
great
Cable
weekend.
10. I'll do it.
Okay.
Speaking of the weekend, let's check in and see what the weather has in store for us with ABC 36 Storm Team meteorologist Ashley Cade.